What's up, everybody? It's Walter, your favorite professor and historian. Today's date's March 11th, 2026. So recently I've been doing a lot of research on anti-miscegenation and anti-cohabitation laws in America before the 1960s. Now, for some quick definitions, anti-miscegenation laws prohibited interracial marriages, and anti-cohabitation laws prohibited interracial cohabitation outside of the context of marriage. So in doing that research, I was shocked to discover just how many interracial couples lived in the American South, before these laws were essentially all invalidated with the Supreme Court's decision in Loving v. Virginia in 1967. The enforcement of these laws varied greatly from place to place, if they were enforced at all. And in the research that I have stumbled upon in just doing random reviewing, I was shocked to see just how in certain jurisdictions, especially notably one in Natchez, Mississippi, how you had interracial couples live together for years, decades even, with very little interference from the state or the community. Now, when we say interracial couples, the type that I'm referring to are, of course, white men and black women. We already knew what time it was when it came to a black man with a white woman. We'll get to that in a second. But for the couples that were allowed to exist generally without much interference, we get to the white man and the black woman. Now, don't get it twisted. The law did not give its blessing to such a union. It was a partnership, boyfriend, girlfriend, essentially, because they legally weren't allowed to wed, even if the relationship was tolerated. But it was frowned upon. Make no mistake about it, okay? But if there was any repercussions for it, based on what I have learned, it would typically be a kid glove punishment, maybe a small fine and a reprimand. You shouldn't be doing that. All right, get out of here. In no way would either typically face any jail time or any sort of other violence from the community or from the state. The whole prevailing theme was that a white guy should be able to live his life according to his own dictates without interference from the state or the community. And, that's how it was, all right? Again, such relationships were frowned upon. They did not receive the blessing of the state or the community in any way. The law made them technically illegal. But when it came to a white man and a black woman, the powers that be, the legal system tended to look the other way more often than not. They didn't approve it, but it's like a parent that didn't approve of their child's marriage. I mean, nothing really they can do about it. They're going to do it anyway. So, we don't approve it, but we're not going to give it our thumbs up. And that's how it was, okay? And you had a lot of these couples live, especially in the state of Mississippi and in the locale of Natchez. Now, when it came to the other side with a black man and a white woman, oh boy, a whole different outlook. We already know what was the result here. Black man, once this relationship was discovered, the black man, if he didn't get the hell out of Dodge, would find himself executed by lynching. And as for the white woman, well, she might likely face jail time. And that wouldn't be all. Whether she faced jail time or not, she would essentially be exiled from her community. After that, she might as well go live amongst the black people because, her family, her neighbors, they're not going to want nothing more to do with her. After all, she's been tainted and tarnished by a black man, and goodness help her if she got pregnant by a black guy. Oh, dear gosh. She's now completely unclean in their eyes. She is ritually unclean. She has been ruined and tarnished by a black man for having interracial sex with a black man. She is no longer worthy of white culture. And like I said, she might as well go live with the black people now because they probably happily take her, but her white community will want nothing more to do with her. And once she gave birth to that baby, well, that baby is automatically going to be black in the eyes of the law, regardless of whether or not, baby had a white mother. So she would face stigmatization for the rest of her life. And the black man, like I said, if he managed to escape the lynching, would have to go into exile, because that relationship would certainly not be allowed under any circumstances. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, that's the union that the anti-miscegenation laws were intended to prohibit, the union of a black man and a white woman. The anti-miscegenation laws were never intended to prohibit the union of a white man and a black woman. Like I said, that was overlooked. You know, if they were practically indifferent to that. But theoretically, to give the appearance that, oh yeah, we're enforcing our laws, they would give, like I said, very slap on the wrist punishments to white men and black women found in such, cohabitation status. But the community typically did not bother them. That's a holdover from the slavery days, when slave masters often had relationships with their black female slaves. But obviously that did not carry over to a black man with a white woman, which was absolutely demonized, not only in the South, but in many other parts of this country, but primarily illegal in the South. And like I said, the black man would almost certainly face death by lynching once this relationship was discovered. Whereas the white woman, she would not be lynched, but she would almost certainly likely face jail time for engaging in such relationships. If she didn't face jail time, she'd be exiled. Again, her community would want nothing more to do with her because she's tarnished. She's had relations with a black man. And like I said, if she got pregnant by him, all the worst. Okay, they want nothing more to do with her. She'd have to move. Okay, she'd have to start her life somewhere else because she would be a social outcast. This is not something you did back then. And I don't understand even back then why any black man would want to put himself through such drama. Okay, knowing that being involved with a white woman was essentially a death sentence for a black man in the South. And no black man in his right mind would do that. Okay. As for the white women that chose to be in relationships with black men, I almost got love is love. You love who you want, you do you. But some of them undoubtedly must have failed to realize that they're setting this black man up for failure. Because once this relationship is discovered, ain't no good gonna come to either one of you. Okay, he should have had enough willpower to know this ain't gonna work. If we gonna be together, y'all gonna have to move somewhere up north, where it isn't exactly embraced up there, but at least it's legal up there. So, but that's that, and in doing the research, like I said, I was just surprised to see how many, interracial relationships existed, the type that was allowed, white men and black women. Again, they couldn't legally marry, or technically they weren't supposed to be cohabitating either. But when it came to that type of union, the law tended to look the other way. And again, if it did bother to give any sanctions against them, they were very insignificant. It wasn't anything that would cripple you or result in any serious penalties. The opposite of what it would be for a black man and a white woman. Totally the opposite. Completely unacceptable under any circumstance. And so it's very interesting if you ever were to dive into that subject. For the record, all of the states of the South had anti-miscegenation laws in the period between 1948 and 1967 before the Supreme Court struck them down in Loving v. Virginia. My own state, Maryland, repealed its anti-miscegenation laws shortly before the Supreme Court issued its decision in that case, and lots of other states in the North and in the West repealed their anti-miscegenation laws well before the Supreme Court's decision in Loving. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter, so leave them in the comments below, and we can definitely have some good discussion on this subject. Thanks for listening. Please like the video, share it, save it, subscribe to my channel. You are greatly appreciated for your support. Take care of yourselves and stay safe out there. I will talk to you at the next video. Professor Shelton, the Blue Collar Scholar, out.